scary and gruesome stories about ghosts, monsters, haunted houses, and of course, cannibals. Cannibalism was considered a culture of Agori monks of the Indian tribe, Varanasi, but in the present time, this activity is an ultimate taboo described as a psychopathic condition of a person who desires to eat human flesh and drink blood. As a matter of fact, there were also extreme cases related to notorious killings. But as the following example shows, this phenomenon can also occur when people are extremely hungry. Number 1. Crime. The restaurant with human heads on the menu. The brothers who allegedly dug up over 100 bodies from a graveyard to eat two brothers in Pakistan were arrested in April 2014 after a boy's human head was found in one of their homes. The pair, Muhammad Arif Ali and Muhammad Farman Ali, already convicted cannibals, were released from jail last year following a string of offenses. Local police were alerted to the brothers' behavior following reports from neighbors of bad smells. The police now claim the men removed and consumed more than 100 bodies from a nearby graveyard. Number 2. The Crossbow Cannibal. Stephen Sean Griffiths, more commonly known as the Crossbow Cannibal, murdered 3 women between June 22, 2009 and May 21, 2010. He had lured the 3 women, who were all sex workers, back to his apartment in Bradford, West Yorkshire, before proceeding to murder, butcher and eat parts of their body, and then dumping the remaining parts in the River Aire in Shipley. While Griffiths' crimes were already shocking in Britain due to their brutality, the murder of his final victim Suzanne Blamires proved to be the most infamous as it was captured on CCTV. What is less known is that Griffiths also recorded himself via mobile phone butchering his second victim Shelley Armitage and narrating what he was doing. Additionally, he took photos of all 3 of his victims once they were dead. On May 24, 2010, Peter G., who was a caretaker for Holyfield Court where Griffiths resided, went through the CCTV footage and was horrified at its contents. In December that same year, G spoke to a local working men's club, stating how distressed he became at what he saw, and had no intentions of going into detail on what was on the tape. He immediately contacted police upon viewing the murder caught on tape, which led to the arrest of Griffiths. Griffiths immediately confessed to the crimes, giving himself the name the Crossbow Cannibal. On December 21, Griffiths was convicted of all 3 murders following him pleading guilty. He was sentenced with a whole life order against him, thus resulting in life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. As of the present day, he is incarcerated in HM Prison Long Latton in Worcestershire, and has been subject to attacks from other inmates. Number 3. Disgusting cannibal facts at cannibal wedding party. One of the most bizarre cannibal cases that shocked the Philippines happened on July 17, 2004 during the wedding of Iladio Ball's daughter at Nara, Palawan. The grisly incident started when Ball got angry with his cousin Benji Gainey, who accidentally touched the bride's bottom. Ball, together with his son Gerald Ball, nephew Sabchuari Peak, and another cousin Johnny Bayat, took Ganani into the woods. They stabbed him to death, cooked his body using coconut leaves with kerosene, and brought the roasted body to the wedding and served it to the guests. Later on, Bayat confessed to the police that they didn't just kill the victim, they even devoured some of Gani's body parts because they were drunk. Number 4. Human flesh. A lot of our stories of cannibalism are from a different era, and it's easy to dismiss them as relics from the past. But the tale of a group of Dominicans who set out for a better life in Puerto Rico and ended up living a nightmare at sea happened in 2008. 33 people had set out for the 160-mile, 257-kilometer journey in a wooden vessel, some paying as much as $1,800 for a spot on the fishing boat. When the engines malfunctioned a day and a half in, passengers were split about whether to turn back or press on, but the captain wanted to continue. The boat essentially drifted on open water for 6 more days until the first passenger died. The next night, the captain disappeared, either thrown over by a passenger or making a desperate attempt to swim for help. The men and women began dying daily. After 2 weeks at sea and 27 of the 33 passengers already dead of dehydration and starvation, the 5 survivors finally made a decision to cut some pieces of meat from the leg and chest of the last man to die. They took the small bits and swallowed them like pills. They weren't forced to resort to any more cannibalistic feeding, as they were found the next day, rescued by the United States Coast Guard. One survivor did confirm that the human flesh was a lot like beef. Number 5. Kidnapped for meat during the Siege of Leningrad. The Siege of Leningrad was a nearly 3-year bombardment by German Nazi forces against the city of what is now St. Petersburg. The Russian population didn't just face a daily barrage of bombing and violence. 1 million people died in the siege. For comparison's sake, an estimated 135,000 people perished in the bombing of Hiroshima. The 900-day blockage forced the population to starve to death without any means of replenishing the food supply. For a long time, Soviet authorities denied reports of cannibalism during the blockade, but findings in the last 20 years have been clear. Cannibalism wasn't just a rumor, but a very scary fact of life for those under siege. Consider that the people of Leningrad each had a daily ration of bread about the weight of a bar of soap and used whatever they could to fill their diet: glue, petroleum jelly, boiled leather briefcases, or fur coats. Now evidence, in the form of diaries and other artifacts, shows that gangs of starving citizens, bent on any flesh they could get, were such a threat to the population that the city had a whole unit to fight cannibalism. Indeed, 260 were arrested and jailed for eating human flesh, and parents kept children home after dark to prevent them from being kidnapped for meat. Number 6. Cannibalism fantasies. For some, the desire to consume human flesh is so strong that they're prepared to kill for it. And for this list of individuals, their heinous cannibalism crimes were so shocking that they were shared around the world. A German teacher was found guilty of murdering then eating a man he met on an online dating app to fulfill cannibalism fantasies during a horrific incident in September 2020. The court heard Stefan R., sedated his date, killed him, and severed his genitals before consuming them. When police raided Stefan R.'s apartment in November 2020, investigators found 25 kilos of a cleaning agent called sodium hydroxide, also known as lye and caustic soda, that is also suitable for dissolving human tissue. In addition, relevant tools such as knives and saws as well as traces of blood were also discovered in the basement. In January 2022, the German, dubbed the Cannibal of Pankow, was sentenced to life in prison. Number 8. Worst serial killers. Chanchuli was raised in Montella and experienced a miserable childhood. Her mother didn't love her due to the fact that she was a child of rape. She is considered as one of the most infamous serial killers in Italy after she murdered 3 women in Correggio between 1939 and 1940. She turned the victims' bodies, including their blood, into soaps and chewy tea cakes. As reported, Chanchuli killed Faustina Setti, Francesca Soavi, and Virginia Cassioppo as human sacrifices to keep his oldest son Giuseppe safe during his enlistment in the Italian army. Number 9. Cooked boyfriend. After a turbulent 6-year relationship, Catherine Knight broke into her on-off boyfriend John Price's house and, after having sex with him, stabbed him 37 times. Several hours later she hung up his body, hacked off pieces of flesh, cooked them and served them with cabbage, baked potato and pumpkin. She laid the table for his 2 children before they came home from school, with the plates containing their father's body. Luckily the police arrived, alerted by worried neighbors, before the children returned. Knight committed the murder in 2000 and is now serving life in an Australian prison. Number 10. Eat human flesh. Brian was first sent to prison for killing an Indian shopkeeper named Nisha Sheth in 1994. He was then transferred to an open psychiatric ward in 2004 after he assaulted a 16-year-old girl and underwent a systematic failure treatment for schizophrenia that triggered him to murder his friend Brian Cherry. According to the police who handled his case, Brian even said that it was really nice to eat Cherry's brain with butter.